Chat. Like to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Woo, this has been a great Thanksgiving. At least for me, it has. I hope it's been for you. Boy, I tell you, what a great day. And I think that we have a lot to be thankful for. So at least you should have a lot to be thankful for. You're here, you're alive. I'm glad for Duke 48 coming in, and he said, I am happy Thanksgiving. And he says, may God continue to bless you and your channel. May the love of God completely cover you. Boy, I tell you, may God, I need it. I'm thankful for that. Somebody's out there praying for me. Wow. Ah, what else can I say? So this has been a great day. I hope everybody's like full of turkey and all of those great things, dressing, and wow, it's just been a great. I'm having so much fun. It's just I don't even know what to say. It's just a shame. I'm actually having a lot of fun. I'm not gonna say that because um well, anyway, I'm just leave that right there. Leave it alone and leave that where it's at. Let me get this in the way. Everything on this show is alleged and used for entertainment, spiritual, religious, and educational purposes. I have to get that in the way. For all of the looky loos and people that's tuning in, we can see them. They can't see us, but we can see them. Want to know what it is? We're gonna say what it is. We're gonna do it. They just tune in. They don't sign in or anything like Duke did. They just floating around in the wind, screenshotting and recording everything they possibly can. I have nothing better to do. But anyway, I'm gonna spoil my thought on that. Let me get how I feel, my mood in with you guys. As of right now, nobody can say it better than this guy.
See, I loved you like a sister, but you died too quick. And that's why we called you bitch. I bet you.
What can I say? That's the mood that I'm in. So, and that's for whoever or whatever it is to make a difference to me.
See, I loved you like a sister, but you died too quick. And that's why we called you bitch. I bet you.
I tell you what, man, I love me some Tupac, boy. I tell you, nothing's like it. All these years later, nobody can come close. All these years later, nobody can come close. Well, I come to report that we're going to have to delay chapter 12 and chapter 13 because throughout my travels, I forgot something. So while I'm traveling for this Thanksgiving holidays and enjoying myself, I forget something. And so therefore, I should have preset them to automatically play, but I did not. But they will play tomorrow night. We can bet for sure that chapter 13 and chapter 12 both will premiere back to back tomorrow night. You don't want to miss these because, again, they're going to be loaded with unbelievable information. You just have to see for yourself. And so they're going to premiere tomorrow night. I know I promised you guys some Thanksgiving entertainment, but stuff happens. And, while I was out, in my travels, I couldn't take everything. And me, I definitely like to travel light now. There's no question about it. I happen to have left something in another state, but it will be with me tomorrow. And so therefore, tomorrow night, these videos will play back to back. They're going to be very instrumental. Interesting, we talked about, hey, Champion Gamer in the building. We talked about, I don't even know why I can't like pull that up, chapter 12 and chapter 13, but I'm using like 3 different devices, iPhone, iPad, and my computer, and something definitely went wrong. But interesting, we talked a lot about Bishop Jakes and Bishop Youngblood, Elder Youngblood. I don't know, he's a pastor. But, like I told you guys, if you guys want to see this interview, for those of you who can stomach it, you can go to Larry Reed Live to see this interview. I think it's an incredible, listen to the interview. What's up? Kintelligent in the building. What's up, Kintelligent? Chicago low end. Ain't no low end in Chicago. Chicago. That's my kind of town. So you can go to Larry Reed live and see this interview. The abused became the abuser, and watch Larry Reed skillfully interview Dwayne Youngblood about Bishop Jakes. And again, surprising to me that Bishop Jakes says that this interview is what made him sick in the pulpit. Almost made him croak out of here. But the claims are sensational. In fact, they are so sensational that if I was on Bishop's advisory board, I'd have said, you know what? Just come out and say this guy's delusional and move on. But no, Bishop Jakes decided to file a lawsuit, which is definitely not going to hurt Pastor Youngblood. It's going to hurt Bishop Jakes because he fed into this, and this may have been the plan from the very beginning. But however, my point in saying all of that is, since we did that video, I've had the chance to go back and look at the legal documents of the filing in court. And I was surprised. I'm like, man, one of the other content creators from TikTok sent me the legal documents. I'm like, holy Jesus. This is, I mean, what would they call it? You didn't tee the bishop off now. And so not only did he file a lawsuit against Youngblood, but I think he filed a lawsuit against his own bishop. And not only his own bishop, he filed a lawsuit, which is kind of unusual, against 10 other Jane Does. And the reason why they're called Jane Does is he don't really know who they is either. So as they come forward to testify in court, at if they're gonna back up Youngblood and say this happened to them, then they're gonna be put in the place of those John Does. So as soon as you can find out who else is gonna come to court, then they're gonna be John Doe 1. If Snicker Bar come in and say, well, he did this to me, then Snicker Bar be Jane Doe 1. If Reese Cup come in and say he did that to me, then Reese Cup is gonna be Jane Doe 2. So he filed a lawsuit with 10 extra spaces for 10 extra people and don't know who they are. And that's why he had to label them Jane Does, because just as they reveal themselves, then they'll quickly fill up those spaces, I guess. I think there's only room for 10. I'm like, holy cow. So it's it's weird to say the least, but like I say, if you can stomach it, you should go to no problem, Duke. You should go to Larry Reed Live and take a look at it and see it. The claims are sensational. And to me, I'm just going to tell you, it don't sound like this guy is making it up. It sounds to me like he really believes it. I'm not even saying it's true because I don't know, but it sounds like he really definitely believes what it is that he's saying. He's not skipping a beat when he's saying it, if you can stomach to listen to it. So I don't know whether $6 million or even $10 million was worth the claims that he put out there. In my book, all money ain't good money. It's a lot of ways to get money other than this, and it's just sensational claims. But reading that lawsuit, the 10 Jane Does struck me. The preparation that is put in this lawsuit for other people who are going to come forward and say that he did the same thing to them, I'm sorry, that raises red flags. It does. You're preparing that there's going to be other people who are going to come forward and say the same thing as Dwayne Youngblood is not a good look. It's not skill of a lawyer. It's not skill of a law firm. It's that they're preparing because you got 10 things out there that other than Dwayne Youngblood in the wing. That's the way I read it. When I read that there was 10 Jane Does who possibly could come forward to back up Dwayne Youngblood, I'm like, okay. So you're preparing now for other victims who are going to come forward. Now it doesn't look good at all. Period. I mean, who can number possible people are going to come forward and say the same thing? to 10. Suppose 20 people come forward. You filed for 10. You didn't file for the other 20. So to me, he like knows who's going to come forward, and those spaces for the extra 10 or that are going to come forward. I thought that was like really red flaggish. And to me, it gave credibility to Youngblood. So you better hope that it don't give credibility to jury people, man. You're going to be in serious trouble, since you definitely expecting at least 10 people other than Youngblood. The Bible says out of 1 or 2 people, every word is established, but you're looking for 10 extra people to come around. I mean, I don't think a jury will be able to stomach what Youngblood got to say, let alone 10 other people coming around saying the same thing he did. You're prepared for that? My God, that's crazy. So I wanted to get that out there because we had a chance to look at the legal documentation, the legal filings, and this is a real church scandal, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I wanted to say that. What's up, Sheridan in the building? Yeah, so we're here talking about the bishop, and I had the chance to look at the legal documentation concerning his case, and I was just kind of surprised that there was 10 other Jane Does, and those Jane Does he's expecting to come forward. So as soon as somebody comes forward and they want to say, okay, this happened to me, he's gonna make that Jane Doe 1. The next person, Jane Doe 2. So he's preparing for, this is the way I read it, he's preparing for 10 other people to join in with Dwayne Youngblood. And I'm like, man, that don't even look good. you got cautionary thrown to the wind because you believe that 10 other people is going to come behind Youngblood and back up what he says. I'm like, that is incredible. You know the exact number too. So to me, Bishop, you should never even bit off this, man. She just let it alone, kept on going like you've been kept it on going, because I'm sure that most jury people are going to read that the same way I do, and judges too, especially with definite numbers. Not a good look. But anyway, that's what the lawsuit says anyway, so it's going to be interesting, and more information is about to come out on this whole situation. Now, back to what I was talking about. And I mean, you've been looking for chapter 12, and chapter 12 is definitely going to come out. But because of holiday travels, I left something critical that I need to upload chapter 12. So tomorrow night, which is Friday night entertainment, we're going to have chapter 12 and we're going to do chapter 13 tomorrow night. Wanted to come out and let you guys know that. So they're going to world premiere on YouTube. So as long as you have that bell and you sub to the channel, is going to let you know that chapter 12 is going to be first, and directly behind chapter 12, do not leave the channel, directly behind it, chapter 13 is going to play as well too. And it's going to intrigue you. Well, I tell you, when I did the Bishop Jakes story, it's amazing. Some people got mad. Like, I give a fuck if you get mad. Fuck you and Bishop Jakes. I'm not finna hide nothing for Bishop Jakes. I don't owe him shit because I go to church. It's amazing to me. But if it was they ass, they want you to tell the truth. But since it ain't they ass and they children, they want to get mad. And that's what church has been doing all these years. You people who go to church, and you're not the church. You should be the church yourself, but you go to it covering up and sweeping stuff under the cover, which has terrorized people for years. Money. I know 3 women now. A guy came into Illinois visiting 3 of the most popular churches, and he infected them with herpes. And of course, I know the women took the money, you know, the few $100,000. She went to Los Angeles and infected somebody out there as well too, from a popular church, a preacher, and they just sweep this under the cover. And the women take the money, of course. And since they ain't saying nothing about it, I'm not gonna say anything about it. But man, gonna get mad. Bishop Jakes is God. But shit, I already had my experience. I told you, don't make me tell my experience. I don't give a fuck about Bishop Jakes. He put his own self in the news. He did. And I definitely ain't controlled by nobody and nobody. He must be kidding me. Get mad because he put his own self in the damn news by not being careful and staying true to God and all that stuff and keeping his name blameless. That's his damn fault. I don't have religion. I have a relationship. And I tell you, in my relationship with Christ, it's inclusive and exclusive. It excludes all of you and it includes me. I call him Jesus and he called me by my name. We're on first name basis. So you can kiss my ass. But yeah, Bishop Jakes is being accused by Dwayne Youngblood of kissing him in the mouth and a host of other things and trying to and calling him in the bathtub and all that faggoty stuff that they do. Okay. And you can go see it on the Larry Reed live show and listen to this interview, listen to this guy. And it sounds like he's telling the truth to me. I'm just saying, I mean, it may be his truth, but it sounds like to me, and listening to what I could stomach, and I couldn't stomach it all, that this guy really believes what he's saying. He's not just, blowing smoke in the air. If you listen to him, and Larry Reed, I got to give him credit. He skillfully interviews this guy. He's not feeding him anything. He's just asking the appropriate question. And this guy is coming out, unusually too, naming names and just, he's just coming out with everything. It's like he's been holding this forever. And then this opportunity to tell this story came and said, this is what I tell people, which is why I tell my story. I'm not going to let nobody else tell my story. I'm going to tell my own goddamn story. I put it out there for you. I ain't got nothing to hide. I tell my own damn story. You can't tell my story better than I can. And I think that if this is this man's story, it was best that he tell the story before somebody on that level tell the story and one side the people and stuff of that nature. No, it's good he told his story. Now, do I think he should get paid for it? That's a whole nother ball game. But in telling your story, what actually happens is the anger and the malice and stuff that you feel is taken away from you. That stuff is released into the air and you can move on with your life. If this is true and he never gets a dime for it, he gets relief on the inside because his truth was out there. Not only was it out there, it was so successful that he made a worldwide figure move. That is so rare because most people just turn a different direction and don't even bite into it. But because Bishop turned and bit into it, Bishop made it. He breathed life into it. Now, every major news network in the world, Newsweek, USA Today, everybody's into this story completely. TMZ, MSNBC, interviews that are coming up on major networks that never would have came up are coming up because Bishop filed a lawsuit, and the lawsuit is suspect, especially when you're preparing for anybody else that's going to come behind him and say the same thing that Dwayne Youngblood has said. P. Harvey, oh, what's up? You were right, Nick. Now Bishop wants to sue Dwayne Youngblood, and there are other accusers coming forward. Jesus said the truth will make you free. That's what I'm saying. See, after I did the interview, another creator sent me his legal filings. And P. Harvey, in that legal filing, man, if you can get your hands on it, you need to read it because the legal filing, it makes the whole thing suspect. You can take Youngblood for how you want to take Youngblood. But Bishop's legal filing adds credence, in my opinion, to what Youngblood said, especially when he filed also against 10 Jane Does that could come, that may or may not come. So he's expecting 10 people to show up in court who's going to back up Youngblood. And once they show up, they're going to be Jane, as if that's going to scare somebody. I don't know who the hell this guy think he is, but anyway, you prepared for 10 people to come, and just in case they come, 10 people are going to come forward, and they're going to say the same thing. Yeah, and you put them in there as Jane Does, and we'll wait and see if they answer and come. I ain't never seen such like that. To me, you're preparing for disaster because you've been busted. That's what that reads to me. And a jury's gonna read the same way. Or so will a judge read it the same way. PRB says we have people in our family that knows about his history from way back in West Virginia, opening up Pandora's box. That's what I said. I said that the other night. But listen, you know what? When this interview came out, most of the people I know just went, okay, that's Larry Reed. And they didn't pay no attention at all, period. But you're going to get up on stage and do a whole fucking dramatization of passing the fuck out and almost croaking and shit on the stage, scaring at what little few people you got in your church. Church is practically empty already from scandal. His daughter destroyed his church with taking that young boy, and then the Diddy scandal and the being the power bottom. The people had enough of that stuff, and now you're gonna be up there as if you pass. All you gotta do is pass the fuck out. I mean, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, most of you guys have saw the video where Marvin Winans really took sick. Well, no question about it. Marvin Winans almost fell and hit a pew and cracked his fucking skull wide open. I mean, most of y'all seen that interview. That was of a person who was in dire straits. He was in dire straits. Marvin Winans didn't stand up there and hallucinate and go in and out and 100 people. I mean, clearly you could see Marvin Winans was in dire straits because his eyes went closed, everything, and no microphone fell out of his hand. Marvin Winans fell. I mean, just inches from pew, which probably would have caused more trouble than anything. So he's sitting there dangling along on the chair, and everybody running up there and they fighting over who's gonna get him and all of that stuff like that. I'm like, give me a break. You got to be kidding. I'm gonna let y'all take a look at it real quick again.
Lift it up. We thank you for this word. We thank you for this service. We thank you for this Sunday. I thank you for the people that I can't even see that aren't in the room, but the Holy Spirit has got tears running down their face, and they heard God talk to them in specific ways about specific things. I need to hear you. Thank you. Thank you for the mountains you're going to move. Thank you for the plots you're going to overthrow. Thank you for making a way out of no way. Some of us are not even standing for ourselves. We're standing for our family. Meet every need according to your riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Amen. Can you stay where you are? Because it's kind of crazy. If you have an envelope and you're up front, hold it up high. PMTs find the envelopes wherever they are. If you're in the aisles, pass it all the way to your left. Pass it all the way to your left. If you're in the house, you already know how to give. You sang that so beautiful.
Medical emergency is supposed to be because of Larry Reed's interview.
Come get my seed. There gotta be somebody special to come get it. PMT serve the people of God. It was a pleasure. I still love to preach. I ain't tired of preaching. I miss you. I miss you. Have you ever gone to the hospital to visit somebody and you thought you was going to encourage them and they encourage you? That's what preaching is like. You think you're giving out something, but you're getting back more than you gave. I love you.
Let's go. Get prepared.
Now, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let them go in peace.
Take your time. Give me some space.
Back up.
I only have one problem with all of that. Now, what's up, Colis Woods in the building? I have one problem with all that. According to him, that sickness was brought on because of Larry Reed's interview of this man here, Dwayne Youngblood. So it wasn't nothing internal. It's his mental state after everything that Youngblood had to say. I'm like, holy cow. All those people run up there and everybody speaking in tongues at the same time, which they know you're not supposed to do. Only one person, and then the next person, you got to have an interpreter if you're following the Bible. But of course, they don't follow the Bible. They make y'all follow them. You believe everything the guy says. You worship the guy. This is what Paul meant in chapter 1 of Romans. Y'all worship the creature instead of the creator. So they worship that guy. So nevertheless, his sickness was not brought on. Hey, how you doing, Collins? Happy Thanksgiving to you. His sickness wasn't brought on because of a sickness. It was brought on because of what this guy said. And to me, if he wasn't saying the truth, it shouldn't have bothered you. How can you preach an hour long about Jesus the Christ and be thinking about Larry Reed? I don't know. To me, that was odd, because when I finally heard a response, that was the last thing that I think I was looking to hear. So to me, it made me want to go look at the interview. I looked at as much as I possibly could. And this is why I tell you, you got to go look yourself, because, you know, what this guy is saying is you have to be sick to do what Youngblood is saying that happened to him. You know, so to me, this is a grown man, you know, telling a story. Now I'm gonna tell you why why I believe it, because it ain't like I ain't got my own stories of preachers who wanted to try and have sex with me as a child, as I was 12 and 13 playing the organ. Shoot, I mean, you know, let me start calling names. I never will forget the two brothers that had their convention downtown Chicago at the Pitt Congress Hotel, and how one of them made a pact till the day he died. He thought I was going to bring a lawsuit against him. I never did. You know, I never did. So I know that what Dwayne Youngblood is accusing him of is possible. I think I got my first gun so I couldn't go to church, to keep preachers and shit and directors from trying to hook up with me when I was growing up, because I wasn't like that. You know, and then they had to learn that the hard way. And then they start to blackballing your name because you're not gay. So you don't get on them records and stuff. So I know that what the guy is saying is possible. There's no question about that. So, you know, if it wasn't possible, I don't think he should have reacted. He shouldn't have said anything. He filed a lawsuit, and he filed for expecting $10 other people that's going to probably join Youngblood and put them out there as Jane Does. And I went like, nah, man, something wrong with this. You expecting 10 other people to join in with this guy and preparing for it. So when I read the legal filing itself, I was in shock. And to me, it gives definite credence to what Youngblood is saying. And my advice would be to the Potter's House and to Bishop, to whatever money grab that Dwayne Youngblood want, if you're smart, you'll give it to him. I know you've had some success against other people in the appeals court, but no, bro, you're going to lose this one. That's just my opinion. You should never file no lawsuit against this dude. And he's got a skilled attorney too, a very good skilled attorney who's skilled in what he does. Gonna drag the rest of that church. The church is already empty. You're gonna drag the rest of it through unbelievable sexual assault allegations of monumental proportions. And they ain't got to do nothing but prove you was in Pennsylvania at that date. And pretty much that's more than 50% of the case. Just proving you were there at that date. So my whole point in matter saying all of that is I had the chance to see the legal filings again, and the legal filings to me, and preparing for the 10 extra Jane Does that's gonna come in and join in with Youngblood. I don't know, it made me kind of look sideways for sure. So, you'll probably be seeing the legal filings probably when I get them documents that I'm expecting to come tomorrow. I think they're in there where I can upload the legal filings, let you see what I think is just incredible. And to me, I don't care if he filed a lawsuit. I mean, this is, like I say, this is not going to hurt nobody but him. That's why I was ignorant to even file it. You come out and say, this man's delusional. He's got some psychological issues. You believe he was traumatized and you move on, call it a day. But to file a lawsuit as if that's going to give you vengeance, man, no, that's going to have the whole entire. First of all, the people who've really been abused and the victims are going to definitely support Youngblood. Anyway, you guys will see that. We may upload some of the what's actually filing. It looks like he got angry or whatever. But my whole thing was everything you just saw. All them people ran up there, they expecting, okay, something wrong with it medically. No, according to him, it was mental. What this guy said bothered him and brought on that sickness. And that's the reason why he filed a lawsuit. Hey, M. Hopkins, how you doing? So I was just kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting to hear that. I was expecting to hear, okay, I have diabetes or something like that. But to come out and say, after preaching 1 full hour about Jesus the Christ, that you was up there at the same time thinking about a Larry Reed Live interview. I mean, it just ain't gelling. It just ain't gelling. Now I believe the whole thing was fake because of Larry Reed Live interview. And again, y'all should go look at this if you can stomach it, because the guy ain't holding anything back. So, I don't know what to say. He's really coming out. And I wasn't expecting an interview like, I don't think I've ever seen an interview like that. Where the guy's just coming out. If you look at, to me, I think Larry May wanted to hold him back, but he couldn't. The guy was coming out and he was just coming out with his truth. And again, this is his truth. And that's why I wouldn't have entered into his truth, because he's entitled to it. But he entered into it. And then what got me right away was he filed against, I think, his own bishop. Then he also filed 10 Jane Does. And so I had to go legal and find out what was that. And the Jane Does are, again, for 10 people who he expect that may join Youngblood and say that he did the same thing to them. So since he don't know what 10 is going to come forward, the court will allow him to call them Jane Does until they come forward. And then if like I said earlier, if Snicker Bar comes forward, then he becomes Jane Doe number 1. And if Reese Cup comes forward and say the same thing, then he becomes Jane Doe number 2. I'm like, so he's preparing for 10 other men to come forward. He's got the number. It's 10. So there's allegedly 10 other victims besides Dwayne Youngblood that may come forward and Bishop Jake's lawsuit preparing for them as well too. Like, holy Jesus, destruction right in front of our faces. And that's all I'm gonna touch on that, because I wanted to touch on that because there are some people who got mad. Like I told you, this child molestation, child rape, sexual assault of women, sexual assault of men been going on in church too damn long. And that stuff is true. Like I told you, and I was growing up playing the organ in church. I mean, it was serious, really serious. That's why I kind of like don't touch this, because I'm kind of close to this. But some of that shit happened to me. I never will forget when I used to play for Dr. Charles G. Hayes and the Warriors. Y'all listen to Jesus Can Work It Out. And we had a nice long talk one day. And I'm gonna tell y'all what Dr. Hayes said to me that kind of really helped me a whole lot when it came to my worship, because he had heard some things and he wanted to talk to me about gospel music and all of this stuff like that, because I was climbing that ladder where you could possibly make a name for yourself. And he wanted to let me know the cost that comes along with that. And when he got finished, he's like, you need to get you a part-time job, bro, because you're not going to go for what comes along with that. Because he had already heard some things. I was like, no, you're right, bro. I'm not going to go for it. And he started to, just giving me words of wisdom. And he gave me words of wisdom, which has kept me to this day about that industry. Who'd have thought that gospel music industry was worse than the secular music industry? There's no question about it. And being in these damn churches and stuff can be worse than being in the world. So, to me, when I listen to Youngblood, I know what he's saying is possible. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know what he's saying is definitely possible, because some of that shit they tried to pull on me when I was a young man, 12 and 13, trying to play the organs and shit like that. I mean, I could give you some real names of some people, but since some of them are dead, I'm gonna let their ass rest in peace. But when I got old enough, that shit stopped. Fool me with that stuff. I mean, I know better than that. I mean, I could tell you a story. Most of y'all, I don't know if y'all know Jimmy Smith, the greatest jazz organ player to ever live. A question he asked me one time, and I'll never forget, because he had went out to a church in Oakland, California, and played for this guy's wife. I don't know what they did to Jimmy Smith. He's like, why all them fellas like that? All them fellas. I said, I don't know, because if I could figure that out, I wouldn't be here with you. All them fellas, good musician. That's what he kept saying to me. But nevertheless, if you can, I actually go listen to that interview. I wonder if they're gonna cover this on Court TV. Champion Gaming, what you think? You think Court TV gonna cover this? I think if they don't, they should. Will Court TV cover this trial? They should. What you think, Champion Gamer? I think they should. I hope they do. They do everybody else. So, in my conclusion, because it's time for me to go have some more fun, I want to say once again that chapter 12 of my own book and documentary will be released tomorrow night instead of tonight. I know I promised you guys entertainment, but I tell you what, it'll have to be tomorrow, because again, having Thanksgiving where I'm having Thanksgiving at, I left something somewhere and it's being shipped to me, and it should get to me tomorrow. I should have it tomorrow. And tomorrow night we'll air chapter 12 and chapter 13 tomorrow night. So we're going to delay it by one day. Nevertheless, to all my subs and to all my followers, y'all know what time it is. We see, I didn't even intend on do that, but it did it itself. All my subs, all my followers, we say one nation.
That's what we see Jay-Z has done. That's what we see Puff has the music don't become how you pay the bills. It's a lot of pressure off of it. You got other things bringing in income, you can make music.
This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. Like what the fuck is going on? Who told you that song and did you know all along? And why did your bitch sell that painting 2 weeks after he was gone? I'm gonna tell you what it feels like. It feels a little fishy. Feels like something's going on ever since that John Legend song and Khaled's prediction of a Grammy. If you ask me, I can't stand him. Seems a little weird. Question number 1, why is there no blood? Question number 2, Sam left in the AM is true, but you're talking about the shits all up in the afternoon. Don't trip, we're gonna find out the truth soon. Who did what to who? Did they plan to eat the chili fries or was it just a surprise? Can you see the lies of witness in a cowboy's eyes? Are we gonna just sit here and forget? Are we gonna ride like Nip said? It's a little weird that the judge quit. Handing out immunities like candy makes me sick. I got a lot of unanswered questions like, why is the footage all grit and I can't see shit? Who the fuck is that white man in that white BMW? Probably was the FBI. Yeah, I noticed that white guy, and I noticed the car wasn't in the pictures when they showed them afterwards. They thought we would forget. They got that shit backwards. They weren't expecting me to drop this track and raise all these questions with my Mac words. I'm really mobbing through LA smoking backwoods. I've been doing this shit all my life. TMC, AMI. You might just see an empty parking lot when you ride by. Well, me, I see way more. I see an independently owned store. I see the community taking power back, whether you're white, Mexican, Asian, or black. As long as you're not blue. Good ones, there might be a few, but from my life experience, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not defending Eric, but what's the fucking delay? They requested a quick trial, it's been over 800 days. They try to distract us in so many clever, creative ways. Yeah, you got your Grammy, and now you're a billionaire. But what about the families that are still living there? Seems a little unfair, just a little something to compare. I never seen a fireman wearing a bulletproof vest. Yes, the shit to me seems a little suspect. The shit's a little weird. Crisis actors taking away our fathers, making our child some bastards, killing creative men and women for their masters. The waves that Nip wrote in, you didn't know it began. A bunch of new chapters. You didn't think about what would happen after. We would put the pieces together on your transparent bullshit. I can see right through it, like the clear blue sky in the LA sunny weather, where the palm trees swing side to side and we ride together on a white horse or a double R hearse in a foreign car. Either way, you gotta be on guard because they're on tap for anyone who's brown or black with tats. Everybody sees it, but nobody wants to attack. It's sad if you ask. We all gotta blast back. We're in the game, though we can't touch the ball. Seems a little unfair if you ask me, that's all. So take your ignorant ass to YouTube and type in Tanique Views to get the real news. We're doing the shit for justice, not views. Sharing knowledge and coming together, that's the real tool. He tried to lead us to the lake, so don't sleep on the knowledge that he gave to me and you. He wanted us to learn from his mistakes, so with our new knowledge, good decisions we could make. And also one thing I wanted to say myself, they killed Dr. Sebi because he was teaching health. Assassins, they come in all shapes and sizes, big booties, hips and thighs. Oh, your Diddy's girl, right? Oh yeah, John Legend, some things happen at your video shoot. I got a couple questions for you. All those strings you pulled, you still can't make a rap hit. You punk ass little bitch, you probably got a little dick. All the shit that you have to did. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face. This new song with Nip and Jay, what the fuck, I got something to say. What a slap in the fucking face.